the other way we handle capital improvements in condos specifically is you pay a reserve every month. So the association will actually pay into reserves a certain amount. So one of my associations, the condo pays about $500 a year per unit into the reserve account. Okay, that's awesome, right? It's kind of like forced savings for roofs and parking lots and things like that. When you're doing it as an apartment building, my apartment building, it kind of catches you off guard. You're like, oh, crap, we got to pay put a new parking lot in. Well, really, we should probably be reserving just like that into things. But I tell you what, I don't know anybody that does it,
Yep.
So what I would do, I guess, is when you buy it, fix it up immediately and just be done with it. Consider it a part of the purchase price.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a huge thing going back to the business planning discussion.
Yeah.
Condos are a great example of how they plan ahead for these capital improvements because they're going to need that roof or that heater or whatever, the windows.
Yep.
And so in a condo situation, you're kind of forced to plan for it. But you're right. Rental owners just ignore it. And then when it comes up, they're like, oh, man, $30,000 for this.
Yeah.
Where did this come from?
Yeah.
Well, anybody else could have seen it.
Where did it come from? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think that's just huge, actually creating a reserve account for your rental units and actually putting stuff into it.
I had a house in Duluth. I have a house in Duluth that I put a new roof on. And I put a new roof on probably 5 or 10 years ago, But the guy that I hired, that's a nightmare of a story. But, well, I'll tell you real quick. So the guy wanted 50% down. He tears the roof off. The tenants call back. This is probably before I had my office person. The tenants call back. They're like, hey, is that guy coming back? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's not done. They're like, no, he tore the roof off like 2 weeks ago, and he never showed back up again. Well, I found out he went to jail. So after I'd already paid him my 50% down. So I hired another guy. That guy came in and nailed it incorrectly, basically, So he did a poor job installing the roof. So then we had a bunch of wind damage in Duluth. Well, I couldn't get a claim on my insurance because it was installed improperly. So then I just had to hire another company, a company to come in and just do it. And this was all painful and all expensive and all everything, And it is what it is. But I mean, there's so many lessons there. Like you should be reserving, for expenses. Like you're saying, that roof every single day that roof is getting, one day closer to the end of its usable life. So just because you spent, $10,000 on a roof, 10 years ago, if it's, a 20-year roof or whatever, or say 10-year roof for easy math, that's $1,000 a year. That adds up, right? So that's just for the roof. So why not be putting that away, at least mentally, if not physically? So.
Yeah.
Want to hear more on this topic? Click the link below for the full episode of Maximizing Your Property Value.